A reminder of the two sides once again. 4 changes for the Lions. Matthias Sarkic, their goalkeeper, and Sean Hutchinson, their captain, are both injured. Zian Fleming and George Saville dropped to the bench. Bartosz Białkowski plays his first league game since January. He conceded 4 here against Reading in the League Cup. Ryan Longman and Alan Campbell both make their full debuts, and Casper Denore, the Belgian, also comes into midfield. Białkowski in goal, a back three of Leonard, Cooper and Wallace, Norton Cuffy and Longman the wing-backs, Mitchell and Campbell at the heart of midfield, with Denore behind Bradshaw and Nisbet. The one change for Leeds, Jamie Shackleton, who was a Millwall loanee last season, he drops out. Sam Byron comes in, Meslier in goal, Ayling, Roden, Strike and Byron the back 4. Gray and Ampadu holding in midfield, Somerville and Nonto in the wide areas, Peru and Ruta in attack for them. And Leeds always seem to play well, Scott Minto, when there's a Gray in the team, and Archie Gray has a great lineage. His great uncle Eddie Gray, his father Andy Gray, maybe played against you in the Championship for Leeds and Forest a few years ago, and at 17 years of age he's shown up really well in midfield.
You know what, he's a massive talent, and yes, of course he's got the heavy weight of the name of Gray on his back, but you know, I think he embraces it. And speaking to some people, they were surprised that he wasn't rested. I'm not really, coming off the back of an international break. I think they would have made sure that physically he'd be okay. Maybe if there was another game instead of the international break, he would have been rested for this one. He's 17 years of age, you can't rely too much on him, but I'll tell you what, he is a name that will be talked about, certainly at Ellen Road, for many years to come.
Chris Kavanagh, our referee for this game, assisted by Scott Ledger and Matt Wilkes. Andy Davis is the 4th official. Don't forget, TalkSport 2 is also the home of the NFL on the radio. 3 games coming up later on at 6 o'clock. The Bears against the Bucks, 49ers against the LA Rams at 9, and the Sunday night football is the Dolphins against the Patriots, all live coming up on TalkSport 2 later on. But it's a high noon shootout here at the Den. Millwall against Leeds, and it's Millwall who get the game underway in their blue shirts, attacking the goal away to our left in the first half, and within the opening 10 seconds they win a corner. Bradshaw closed down by Rodon, and Millwall have the first opportunity to load the penalty area.
Well, it's a good start, isn't it? Positive start, shows exactly the intent that Millwall want. First 10 seconds, get the ball long, see if they can put Leeds United's defence under pressure, and they've won a corner.
And 25 of Millwall's goals in the Championship came from set pieces last season. Here's the first one today from Longman. Flicked on at the near post, and it was headed away eventually by Strike, and it will be a throw-in on the far side. But Millwall's ability from set pieces shown in the very early stages.
Yeah, it's a good flick on there, wasn't it? Great movement from Tom Bradshaw. Just got in front of his defender, and then you're just crying for someone to come on the end of it at the back post. But as I say, we're not yet a minute in, but it's been a good start from the home side.
Another long throw, winged in towards the near post. Nonto, of all people, is there to head the ball away, but Millwall keep up the pressure at the start of this game. 2 1-0 wins for them so far, away to Middlesbrough and at home to Stoke. They lost here also by a goal to 0 against Bristol City. A long throw into the near post, nodded away again by Roden, and now controlled on the far side by Norton Cuffy. Into the penalty area for Bradshaw, pulls it back across the face of goal, but it was blocked by Roden, and it's scrambled clear on the far side for another throw-in. 90 seconds played here on TalkSport 2, and Leeds simply can't get out.
Well, that was really good defending from Roden in the end, because it was Jake Cooper that found himself inside the 6-yard box, where if the ball had come to him from Bradshaw, he would have had a simple tap-in. Again, Leeds very much under pressure at the moment.
Another long throw-in on the far side, in towards that near post, and Meslier comes and claims. Very good claim by the Leeds goalkeeper just to release that pressure. He looks for the early release himself on the edge of the box, but there was no real option for him in white shirts, and eventually he will hold on to it, and you can hear what the home crowd think of that as some autumnal sunshine breaks through the grey skies overhead here in southeast London. We can see the top of Canary Wharf twinkling behind the Dockers stand on the far side. Meslier now plays it wide to this near side, and Archie Gray, who we spoke about before kick-off, is the option, but a heavy touch from him, and it's given away to Bradshaw, who was back in the Wales team in that game we brought you on TalkSport 2 against Latvia on Monday night. And now an opportunity for Norton Cuffy, the teenager on loan from Arsenal, to bring it forward for Millwall again, and he will try and break into the penalty area beyond Byram, and Norton Cuffey is twisting and turning. Nonto comes back to make the challenge. Norton Cuffey rides that. A high ball across the penalty area. Longman was shaping for it, but Ayling is there to head the ball away, and it's fired in from fully 35 yards out from Murray Wallace, and it's dragged well wide. And with 3 minutes played on TalkSport 2, it's still Millwall 0, Leeds 0.
Yeah, 3 minutes in, but it took 2 minutes for Leeds United to pretty much to get a touch of the ball, and that was Meslier coming out and claiming for that throw-in. Very, very positive start for Millwall. I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to as well. Norton Cuffey down the right-hand side and Sam Byram, you could see the way they were going at each other there. That's going to be a really good battle. Of course, when you've got a 3 at the back and there's a wing back there, if you're the left back playing in the 4, you've got to try and get your winger to do a 2-on-1 against him and take him the other way. But at the moment, it's Millwall very much on the front foot.
And there's a makeshift look to the Millwall back 3 as well. No Sean Hutchinson, of course. Ryan Leonard, who is a central defender, or rather is a central midfielder, is filling in as a central defender. And they've had to reshuffle that again today. Murray Wallace dropping back into the 3, having been a left back for most of the season, as 2 Leeds players collide inside the penalty area. Strike and Ayling as they chase down Tom Bradshaw on the long ball, and as they collide, the ball spins off Strike behind for another corner.
Well, it's just a question now of Leeds just holding on at the moment. You know, you can see they've been unsettled really. You know, Strike and Ayling, no communication between the two at all, and we're not even 5 minutes in. It's yet another corner, yet another set piece for Millwall. From Millwall's point of view, they've got to try and make sure they can score in this early period. Very much on top. If they do, then Leeds United under pressure.
Ryan Longman will take the corner on this near side, the left. It's a very congested 6-yard area. Some wrestling almost on the goal line. Fisted away by Meslier. Longman will try and gather on this near side, and he will come in field onto the right foot. Now he picks out Mitchell. Mitchell further square, and Leonard will work it wide towards the right-hand side, but in the end Leeds look to come out and close down. The ball is played long over the top, looking for Nisbet, but it's overhit, and it will be a throw into Leeds. But once again, they are finding it very difficult to make ground. It's a throw in which Byron will take by the corner flag on the far side there left, in front of a very animated group of Millwall supporters.
Yeah, it was the right ball, Nigel. You know, you can see that Leeds were trying to press, so that ball over the top, just the execution wasn't good enough. From Leeds' point of view, they're not able to keep the ball at all, string 2 or 3 passes together, because whenever they do get on the ball, then Millwall are already up there, all over them. So, as I say, from Millwall's point of view, you'd expect Leeds to come into the game as it calms down a little bit, but with Millwall being on top in these first 5 or 6 minutes, if they can get a goal, then it really will get everyone up here at the Den.
Quite a breezy day as well, as Ryan Leonard throws a long ball in towards the near post over the head of Campbell. Leeds will clear. Nonto will try and use his pace. Somerville was in support, but it's quickly won back on this near side. Longman with a high ball into the penalty area. Bradshaw nods it back. It's controlled inside the area by Campbell and laid back for Cooper, who fires in the shot. Now Bradshaw again appeals for handball. Campbell's shot hits a Leeds defender on the edge of the 6-yard area. Mitchell gathers now on the edge of the Leeds box, but Nonto forces him away from the penalty area, but Millwall maintain possession. They change the points of the attack. Longman now down the left, right for the ball in, looking for Bradshaw, who goes up with Meslier. Meslier's lost it. It's all the way in, is it? Well, the referee's given the free kick anyway. It was one of those challenges between the goalkeeper and the centre forward, and these days the goalkeeper will always get the free kick.
Well, they will, and we don't have the benefit of a replay here. At first, you probably say in today's game it's a foul. Bradshaw's got his arm up, there's contact made, but you want your goalkeeper coming through the centre forward. If he doesn't think he can catch it, then punch it. And as I say, not just punch the ball, but come through a bit of the centre forward to let him know you don't want to do that again. But I just feel that from a physical point of view, Millwall at the moment just completely on top. Leeds not able to be able to handle them.
Now Ampadu wide towards this near side, and Ayling again, and it's back in field to Roden, who had her arms outstretched there, just talking about the lack of options further ahead of him. And Leeds will try and build here for the first time. Nonto had Byron making the run in behind, but it's back to Strike, and now Nonto again. And of course it did seem that he was on his way out of Ellen Road, but they held their nerve at the end of the transfer window, and he's a full Italian international playing in the Championship, but only 19 years of age. And once again, Leeds were trying to build right down the centre, but there is no room to breathe for them at the moment. Sam Byram was quickly closed down by Bradshaw. Meslier looks to go long now, and there's a leap on the far side, but Ruta unable to win it cleanly, but Leeds do have a throw-in.
It's actually really good play from Millwall, both with and without the ball. When they're with the ball, they're actually creating chances, or at least set pieces. When they're without the ball, Leeds wanting to play out from the back, but they're pressing high, and therefore Meslier is just knocking the ball long, which is just want the back three of Millwall want, and have a 50-50 header there. Leeds trying to get the ball down and play, but at the moment they're nowhere near where they want to be in terms of controlling the tempo of this match.
Well, only Sunderland have a younger average age in their starting 11 so far this season than Leeds, and they've used 25 players as Daniel Farke looks to find the right blend, and of course players have come and go during the transfer window, but he made the point before kick-off that he won the league twice here with Norwich in the Championship, and on both occasions his teams did make slow starts to the campaign. They didn't really get going until the middle of September. Nonto coming forward now, has got support from Byram on the left. Low cross into the penalty area. Cooper steps in before Ruta to guide the ball away, and it will be a throw into Leeds down their left-hand side.
Well, I think that's the first time they've got into the final third, isn't it? And it wasn't the best of balls, but at least they worked it well down that left-hand side. Sam Byram, he's such a versatile player, isn't he? He certainly can play in that left-back role, perhaps prefers it more so on the right, but yeah, this is what Leeds want to be doing now, just keeping the ball, even if they're not creating major chances, just making sure that they're controlling the tempo of the game.
Nonto again, fires it towards the edge of the penalty area, finds neither Ruta or Peru, and it's headed away as Millwall clear by strike on the halfway line, and then a solid challenge comes in on Ruta from Leonard, and it will be a throw-in for Leeds on the far side, which will be taken by Sam Byram, looking for Ruta, who is in behind Leonard down the left, but Leonard recovers well, makes the challenge inside the area, but Leeds do have their first corner down their left.
Yeah, great tackle from Leonard, just as it looked like Ruta was getting away. And one of those tackles, Nigel, where you have to time it perfectly, because if not, it's a guaranteed penalty. But this is better now in the last couple of minutes from Leeds, getting a bit more possession and also territory as well. First set piece for them.
10 minutes played, 0-0. And the corner is whipped in towards the near post, and there was a jumble of bodies there and some confusion as Strike tried to control the ball only a couple of yards out, but in the end the ball ricocheted away off the Dutchman behind for a goal kick, and neither side, Scott Minto, has been defending set pieces convincingly in the opening 10 minutes or so.
No, they haven't, and I'm sure, perhaps even more so Gary Rowett and Millwall, but certainly Daniel Farke and Leeds as well. If they can try and, be a very good side in set pieces, that can help you so much during the season, it really can. And these type of tight games, Millwall away, difficult place to go. Even if you keep a clean sheet and nick one with a set piece, then that's a very good result indeed. Millwall, on the other hand, home or away, will be looking to try and make sure they're good at set pieces. So, yeah, certainly needs to work on them both going forward and defensively.
Leonard now with the ball over the top, looking for Nesbitt, but it's guided away by Rodon. And here is Gray, who is a very upright runner, the 17-year-old, always playing with his head up and always looking to use the ball well. Now, Ampadu, who after a succession of relegation campaigns on loan from Chelsea, now has a permanent home with Leeds, which at his stage of his career he really needed.
Yeah.
Nonto, down the left now, has support from Byram, who as a former West Ham player was always welcome at the Den, but now Nonto was caught by Norton Cuffy. The free kick was taken quickly, but too quickly for the liking of Chris Kavanagh, and Leeds will have to reset.
Yeah, I think for Ethan Ampadu, he's made a great start to his Leeds United career as well. Made a really good impact in the opening few games.
Just needs to play, doesn't he?
He does, absolutely. That's all he needed. And with respect, he wasn't going to get into the Chelsea first team. And sometimes, Nigel, when you go away on loan as well, you don't quite feel 100% with that club. I'm not saying he didn't do well, but now he's not just a permanent player at a different club. He's at a big club. Leeds United, for me, a top 8 Premier League club, just not a top 8 Premier League side.
But they have a free kick on the far side, and it's floated high towards the far post. Strike is challenging for it, fisted away by Bielkowski, and it's a big day for him, back in the Millwall first team at the age of 36, his first league game since New Year's Day, but it's given away by Ayling. An early ball forward played over the top by Mitchell looking for Bradshaw, but it was overhit with more precision there. Bradshaw would have been away.
Yeah, got to be careful, just a misplaced pass there, and suddenly Millwall looked like they could have been in. You know, Leeds have come back into it now in terms of just having a bit more possession. The last thing they want to do is give away a silly pass and let Millwall go on and score.
Now Somerville plays the ball off Longman on this near side, and it will be another throw-in for Leeds, and Ampadu now has it in the centre circle, looking to his left again. Both Byram and Nonto are forward. Byram now, Nonto has to check his run to stay on side eventually, but Byram has made the run in behind, and Millwall haven't tracked that. The low ball back looking for Peru. Peru almost wins it back inside the penalty area from Leonard, but fouled him, and it will be a free kick. 13 minutes played here on TalkSport 2. It is Millwall 0, Leeds 0. Another long ball forward. Two Welsh internationals, Roden and Bradshaw in pursuit, and Roden does really well. He shoves Bradshaw off it, then controls it. Meslier inside the penalty area though with a heavy touch. He's put Ayling under pressure. Ayling on the ground, tries to head the ball, appeals for handball inside the box. Chris Kavanagh points to his head and said he headed the ball away on the ground. We saw Andy Gray do that once, famously for Everton, and Ayling there having to improvise. Then a challenge is made on Nesbitt by Peru. Millwall were looking for the free kick, nothing given. Here is Ruta coming forward now for Leeds. White and Nonto on the left-hand side. Back towards Ruta. Now Peru inside the penalty area. Brilliant goal. Joe Peru with an absolutely fabulous finish for Leeds United. And Millwall were carved open right down the centre. The home crowd are furious. They wanted a free kick, but Leeds played on, and they played on superbly. Precision passing all the way through, and Joel Peru showing why he's one of the coolest finishers in the Championship. And it's Millwall 0, Leeds United 1.
Well, look, first of all, I think Millwall fans wanted a penalty, and they thought that Luke Ayling went on the floor and it actually hit his hand. I don't think it did, but I do think there was a foul and should have been a free kick. But fair play to Leeds United, the way they counter-attacked so quickly. Really good pace, not letting Millwall get into it, and it was just one touch stuff in the end. And Joel Peru, we know at this level he can stick the ball in the back of the net. Really good movement, good first time pass to him, and it gives Bielkowski no chance whatsoever. But a very controversial goal. As I say, Millwall fans here not happy at all. They felt that one, it should have been a penalty. I don't think it was. But two, it should have been a foul and a free kick in their own half, and I do think that was a free kick. Gary Rowett absolutely livid, but that's the quality of Leeds United. Not been the better side so far, but showing in moments they can just make sure that they score a goal, and they're 1-0 up.
Joel Peru's second goal for Leeds. Only Alexander Mitrovic has scored more goals in the Championship since Peru made his debut, and of course he got 43 in one season. Peru with 22 and 19 in a Swansea team which was never really troubling the top half of the table, as Nonto comes forward again now. Slipped through towards Peru down the centre, but it's swooped on by Bielkowski, who was completely exposed by that goal, had absolutely no chance. But Millwall, I think, were caught up field and maybe still thinking they should have got the free kick, but Leeds played to the whistle, or lack of whistle.
Absolutely. You know, Luke Ayling, it was almost Keystone Cops in a way, the way he kind of fell in the penalty box.
It was Meslier who played him into trouble, wasn't it?
It was. You know, he didn't realise that he was getting hounded down by one of the Millwall strikers, which he should have done, because it was good defending initially from Rodin. Then Ayling falls into the box. He's kind of trying to head the ball while he's on the ground. Millwall fans claiming it was a handball. I don't think it was, but I do think it was a foul, and therefore the goal shouldn't have been allowed. But obviously we don't have VAR, probably wouldn't have been turned around for a clear and obvious error anyway. But Millwall now, after that very positive start, find themselves 1-0 down and just need to make sure that they carry on with the intensity they had before.
17 minutes played, Millwall 0, Leeds 1 on the home of the EFL, TalkSport 2, and now Leeds get a rather soft free kick. Mitchell pulling back Nonto, and the home crowd here are rather restless to say the least. Looks like a sellout pretty much here today. One or two empty blue seats. Leeds have sold their allocation in the top half of the stand away to our left-hand side. And I would imagine around 15 or 16,000 here as Ruta goes down on the far side looking for a free kick. This time the referee gives nothing. And Gary Rowett has been deep in conversation with Andy Davis, the fourth official.
That's one way of putting it, Knight.
Yeah. but they don't score goals. I was speaking to someone from Millwall when they arrived here this morning, saying how they've been playing this season, and they said, we've been very Gary. I mean, before this game, 4 goals scored, 5 conceded in 5 games. It's not been a goal fest. But they did have that 3-1 defeat at Norwich. Done a 1-1 draw at Birmingham, which looks a pretty good result, the way Birmingham have started the season. And of course, you'll take your 1-0 wins, as they did on so many occasions last season. But now they've got a problem to solve, because they know that Leeds have got the weapons on the break.
No, they have, and now, fair play to them. I think even now they've been the better of the two sides up to the 18 and a half minutes we've had so far. But because they're 1-0 down, they do need to be careful they don't chase the game. We've just seen how well that Leeds United counter-attacked. It was almost a Bielsa-type counter-attack, wasn't it? The way you see him play just a couple of years ago, but need to be careful they don't get vulnerable to that again.
And Leeds and successive managers have really been in the shadow of Bielsa ever since he departed. And of course he did great things for Leeds in the Championship, and then up into the Premier League. Daniel Farke signed a 4-year deal. He's the 14th Leeds manager in the last decade, as Nonto comes forward again down the left-hand side, works the 1-2 with Ruta. Nonto to the byline. Norton Cuffy, though, keeps up with him, but it's played back to Byram. Now Somerville on the edge of the penalty area. Back again to Ruta. It's all a bit congested. Ampadu lets fly. It takes a deflection. It will be another corner to Leeds, and they are bang on top here now with 19 minutes played, leading by a goal to 0.
Yes, they are, and they're now controlling the tempo, and the midfielders are getting into it. Ampadu being one of them, and he found himself, 25 yards out, and thought, why not have a pop? Not really renowned for his goal scoring, but when you're in this position, again, where now, in the first 10 minutes, Leeds United were thinking, we just don't concede. Now Millwall are thinking the same, because 2-0 will be very difficult to come back from. 1-0 still very much in the game.
And the skies are darkening overhead here as Somerville whips in the corner, and it's sliced over his own crossbar inside the 6-yard area by Cooper, and it will be another Leeds corner. And if you're a Leeds fan there, Scott, are you wondering why nobody attacked them?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a wonderful ball in, really was, and Cooper got lucky. He's almost facing his own goal. He tries to clear it. It goes over his own goal. That could easily have gone into the top corner. It would have been 2-0. Again, set pieces, so important.
Somerville will take the corner kick again on this near side, the right. Ruta providing him the height at the far post. It's towards him. It's nodded down to Peru, just unable to get the shot in. Ayling with an overhead kick, looped high towards the far post, and it's claimed by Bielkowski.
They just need to calm it down a little bit, Millwall. After what was a very, very good start since the goal, it's been all Leeds United. They just need to make sure that they don't leave themselves open for that counter-attack while still trying to carry on the intensity they had in the first 5 or 10 minutes.
And Bielkowski, wearing all sky blue, defending the Millwall goal away to our right with a long ball forward. Roden rising above Bradshaw to clear. And Campbell, who was on loan from Luton, beaten to it by Nonto. Byram slid into Ruta on the halfway line, who at times does look quite ungainly, but when he gets his feet moving, he's a very good mover with the ball. So to a Somerville, on towards Peru on the edge of the penalty area, but the pass in behind was also behind Ruta, and Millwall will clear. It's played long, looking for the Scott Nisbet, but in the end, Strike steps in behind him. He was looking to guide the header back to Meslier, but got his angles wrong, and it's behind for a corner.
Yeah, two things there. Leeds look really good going forward now. We talked about how they can try and link up as a partnership, Reuter and Peru. I think they've got that already, and then there's either Somerville or Nonto coming in off the wing to make a third person there as well. But Strake, the last thing he wants to be doing is giving away a set piece in this situation. This is exactly what Millwall wants. So if they are going to get into this game, now after it's calmed down a bit, I think this is their best chance of getting a goal.
Denore will play the corner short to Mitchell down the right, square to Longman. Longman tries to scoop it into the penalty area. He finds Bradshaw, who hooks a volley in on the turn, and it's claimed by Meslier at the far post. I'm pretty sure that wasn't off the training ground. A complete miskick from Longman, but it almost fell kindly for Bradshaw.
Well, the beginning bit was the way they kind of worked it to Longman, and then it was meant to be a shot that must have just bobbled in front of him, but it came up into Bradshaw, didn't it? And he actually should have done better with it, because there were a couple of Millwall players in the box just waiting again to tap in. They're not out of this game, Millwall, they're really not, but you just feel now that Leeds United are in control of the situation, and with the players they've got the capability of just creating great moments where they can get a second goal.
Leeds, the only side to stop Ipswich from winning so far this season, when they won 4-3 at Portman Road earlier this season. Ipswich, one of the pace setters at the top of the table. Preston currently on top of the Championship, and will feature a big game on TalkSport 2 from the Championship on Wednesday night. Norwich against Leicester, game night focusing on the Premier League tomorrow on TalkSport. It's Forest against Burnley. Then on Tuesday we're back in the Champions League, and Newcastle are back there with us. 5:45 away to Milan on TalkSport. Feyenoord against Celtic, 8 o'clock will be on TalkSport 2. And then Bayern against Manchester United, also on TalkSport on Wednesday night. Millwall looking for another free kick. They believe there was some pushing on the edge of the penalty area from a high ball played forward, but Leeds will break again. Ayling looking for Somerville, who nods it into the penalty area, clips it towards goal. It's just wide. What a goal that would have been from Somerville. He was way out on the right-hand side, and he spotted Bielkowski off his line and almost caught him out.
I'll tell you what, first of all, what a great pass that was from Luke Ayling. First time just putting it in towards Somerville, and he takes the touch, looks like he's going away from goal, probably thinking he's not even going to shoot, and then he just dinks it over Bielkowski, who was nowhere near it at all. But I think just because of the angle and the inside of the right foot meant that it was always going to curl away from the goal. But again, that's what I talk about, moments. They've got these players who are capable of just creating something special at this level, and that's why I believe that still, for me, they're one of the favourites to go up automatically.
Well, they've got something a bit different, Leeds, and that something is maybe a commodity that Millwall are just lacking at the moment, as Campbell is penalised for a smothering challenge on Nonto just inside the Leeds half.
What they've got is they've got an array of attacking talent at this level, they really have, and they've also got a manager who's been there, seen it, done it at this level. So it's almost like when he came in, you know, it wasn't him being interviewed, it was him interviewing the board and saying, if you know, can you match my ambitions here? And I like that, and I think the way he's spoken, again, you know, I think Leeds United fans are having him all day long as well, and absolutely, this is not just about getting Leeds up, this is about making sure they want to get into the top half of the Premier League, but step by step, let's think about that first of going straight back up. As I say, they have the talent to do that, and I just think they're capable of going on a really good run this season, and they probably will do it soon.
Well, they're now owned by the San Francisco 49ers effectively, and we'll be featuring them on TalkSport 2 later on. West Coast derby against the LA Rams at 9 o'clock as part of our NFL coverage this weekend, as Leeds come forward again now with Strike over on the far side. And there's an opportunity for Leeds to play it forward here with real pace. Somerville on the edge of the penalty area, almost breaks back to Rutter again. Byron, the player who was heavily involved in that, stepping in from the left, and Millwall did not really track his run, but now they try and break with Nesbitt. Wide to this near side and Longman. Nesbitt believed his run there was just blocked off by Roden, but no free kick given by Chris Kavanagh, and it's back with Cooper on the edge of his own penalty area. He quickly sweeps it wide to the right, and Norton Cuffey, a player who was on loan in the Championship with both Rotherham and Coventry last season, so he knows all about this level. 26 minutes played on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL, and it's Millwall 0, Leeds 1. Joel Peru scoring the only goal in the 15th minute, although it was a controversial one. Longman with a cross into the penalty area for Millwall, looking for Bradshaw, cleared away by Roden. And now Longman again, and it's Murray Wallace on the overlap, and his cross in is blocked by Gray. Another Millwall corner. They're getting plenty of set pieces, but at the moment Leeds are dealing with them quite well.
They are, but that was really good play from Millwall. It wasn't a question of just trying to knock it long all the time. They went from left to right, they passed it out, came back onto the left hand side again, and you know, if Leeds United are to go up, they need to really make sure they don't concede silly goals, and if they come away from here at the Den, the way Millwall have been playing in the first 20-25 minutes, then with the clean sheet, that would be great.
Longman with the corner in, it's fisted away by Mellier. Didn't really get the distance. He almost leapt there, almost in a star jump formation, but got enough on it, and Leeds will try and break with Somerville, found by Rutter on this near side. Somerville goes down, and as he did so, he handled the ball, but Chris Kavanagh allows Millwall to play on because they've got possession. And I'm not sure that Millwall necessarily wanted the advantage there. They'd have preferred the free kick to try and reset, and Gary Rowett continues to be in the ear of Andy Davis, the fourth official. And I'm sure he's still chuntering about the decision, or the non-decision, in the build-up to the goal. Now Gray, losing out to Campbell in the air, midway inside the Leeds half. Mitchell for Millwall. Campbell again now, he can play it wide to the left-hand side, and Longman onto the right foot, the crossing deflected into the path of Campbell, and now Denore and Bradshaw with a low cross in, and Roden was in the way, and it will be another corner kick on this near side.
Yeah, it's a good response from Millwall, isn't it? After that goal, Leeds were on top for 5, 6, 7 minutes, and you're kind of thinking, okay, what's going to happen here? If Leeds go 2 up, it's very difficult for Millwall to come back into it, but no, they're showing a lot of character, really trying to knock on the door, getting set pieces, just need that quality ball in, and then who can get on the end of it.
Corner kick on this near side. Longman again, deeper this time, far too deep, swirled beyond everybody.
Just poor.
And Ayling will just shepherd the ball out of play, and it will be a throw-in for Leeds United. And at the moment, they are dealing with everything Millwall are throwing at them quite comfortably.
Yeah, they are, to be fair to them. Defensively, you know, they were under pressure in the first 5-10 minutes, very much so. Yeah, kind of held out. Meslier, for me, doesn't give me lots of confidence. He's come out a couple of times across his. One time he got a bit bullied by Bradshaw and slightly lucky that it was a free kick. Another one, as you said, almost like a star jump. That tells me the keeper's not quite sure what's happening and just wants to make himself as big as possible. But at the moment, the back four of Leeds are defending very well.
Only 5 clean sheets for him in the Premier League last season, of course, different levels. But Sheffield Wednesday are the only side who have not scored against him so far in the current campaign, although Millwall are yet to score here with 29 minutes played. Nisbet now passes on to a ball from Bradshaw, tries to play it back to Bradshaw inside the area, but Barham is there to clear the ball away. And now Somerville, with that low centre of gravity, spins away from the challenge of Campbell, but runs into Norton Cuffey. Denore quickly forward for Nisbet, who is away from Millwall down the left-hand side. Longman in support. Bradshaw waits at the far post. Nisbet finding Longman now. He could be set up for the right-footed curler. Longman comes in field. He does curl it, and it's turned aside by Meslier. A good save from the Leeds goalkeeper as Millwall produced their first real shot on target.
Yeah, really good play from Longman there. Too easy from the Leeds defence. Just allow him to come inside. You know what he's going to try and do. There's a good tackle in there from Leeds, but you know what he's going to try and do. He's going to come inside, open up the goal on his right foot and have a shot. And just been slightly critical of Meslier, but that was a really good save.
It's a big man, Meslier, but he got down very quickly there. Ayling heads it forward now for Leeds. It's such an open game this, with half an hour played. Leeds leading by a 1-0 on TalkSport 2. And we also have Europa League action coming up on Thursday night. Liverpool playing on Thursday nights in Europe this season, and we have their opening game against Lask of Austria, 5:45 on TalkSport 2 this Thursday. So football every single night of the week coming up across the TalkSport network, and it's England against Scotland in the Women's UEFA Nations League coming up on Friday night as well. But Leeds are ahead here thanks to one of their new signings, as Strike goes back towards Meslier again. And Mellier's had a lot of football for a 23-year-old goalkeeper, Scott, but in terms of confidence, in terms of stature, has he really kicked on enough as a goalkeeper?
No, he hasn't, but you know, you rightly said it was a very tough season for him. I think he's admitted he didn't have the best of seasons and made some mistakes, but you know, playing for Leeds United, as I say, one of the biggest clubs in the country, in terms of the pressure, the fans are there week in, week out. They won't go away either. Incredibly passionate. You know, it's not easy when you're losing games, and if your goalkeeper is one of, if not the hardest position on the pitch. So he's gaining experience, probably 3 years to every one. And I think he's only, 23 did he say?
23, yeah.
You know, like, he's got another 10, 15 years in the game, and I can see him being a top keeper in the future, and he'll look back at these moments and say, well, they helped build my character. But certainly going through them, it's not been easy. Last season definitely wasn't.
I think we were together at Fulham when he had a pretty poor afternoon, and they lost that game in the Premier League towards the end of the season, and Sam Allardyce left him out towards the very end. But Leeds still went down.
Well, I think he was hoping that I don't know if he was hoping he was going to go, but they've got 3 decent goalkeepers, Leeds United, so the fact that no one's actually come in and bid what the board wanted, I think that tells you something. But again, it's a great opportunity for these players now to be used to winning games rather than losing games week in, week out, and enjoying their football.
Cole Darlow, the signing from Newcastle, is the Leeds backup goalkeeper, and you could imagine he won't be too happy if he spends all season on the bench, having done that for Newcastle for a number of years. As Leeds have another free kick on the far side. 33 minutes played here on TalkSport 2. Millwall 0, Leeds 1. Joel Peru the goal scorer. And the Sunday session with Sam Matterface and the team will keep you up to date with all of the action in the Premier League and the Rugby Union World Cup from 1:30 over on TalkSport. We have the NFL coming up on TalkSport 2 from 5 o'clock. As Byram plays the early ball forward for Leeds, and Somerville, who's got that roving role for them. And Byram again, finding Somerville again, wide on the left-hand side. Leonard's got a problem here, has to come out to the centre to try and deal with him and help out Norton Cuffy, which he does, and then he's fouled by Somerville, Leonard, and it will be a free kick in the Millwall right-back position.
No, it's good defending that, wasn't it? You know, you look at the wide players, Montel and Somerville, and other really talented players that Leeds United have. You know, full-backs in the Championship will not be looking forward to playing against Leeds United, and that's where Leeds need to make sure they get very much on the front foot. Ethan Ampadu has made a really good start. There needs to be that base to give their attacking players the chance to really go on and score goals.
Ampadu hooks it forward now as Leeds look to turn defence into attack, but it's quickly won back by Denore. And now Longman on this near side, the player signed from Hull City. Yet another player who came through the academy at Brighton before moving on to the Championship. Now Wallace for Millwall, down the left. Just in front of us is Denore. Longman holds his run, and it's Wallace who comes inside him. And now Longman back in field onto that right foot again. Plays it square, and the space for Campbell on the edge of the penalty area. He was looking for Norton Cuffy to maybe make the run in behind, but he now has it wide on the far side, the right. Campbell again works the 1-2 with Leonard. Campbell will do well to get that ahead of Ampadu, and he doesn't, and it goes behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, good defending. Again, talked about how Leeds have been under pressure at different times of the game, and they look very well structured at the moment now. Yes, there have been times where Millwall have looked dangerous and the intensity's been good and the fans have got behind them, but actually when it comes to that real critical moment, Leeds defence have done very well and helped out there by Ampadu in that particular situation. That's where he's so important, not just trying to give the attacking players the platform to go on and try and create something and score goals, but also protect his back four.
Meslier waves his central defenders outside the penalty area with the goal kick, and both Roden and Strike dutifully head up towards the halfway line, and it's high towards Ruta, who wins the flick on comfortably, but there was no one at all making that run in behind, and it's all the way through to Bielkowski once again. And there's no doubt that Leeds have pace either side of Ruta, but everybody was stood still there. Now it's long downfield from Bielkowski, and Somerville loses out to Campbell, and here is Mitchell, Denore, and now Wallace again, just coming in field from the left, and Mitchell almost turns into Ruta and Somerville, but he did just enough.
He got away with that one. I don't think he realised it was behind him.
Cleared long downfield by Bielkowski again, and the ball evades both Nesbitt and Roden. Hooked clear by Ayling, wide towards the far side. Peru is back to help out with the defending, and in the end it's a diving header from Ampadu back towards his own goalkeeper Meslier. Leeds were really ruffled in the opening 10 minutes or so, but the goal settled them down from Peru, and although Millwall have come back into it, you just get the feeling that Leeds could pick them off at any time.
Yeah, you do. You feel there's a quality difference now after that initial really good start from Millwall, where it was high in intensity. Leeds couldn't get hold of the ball, let alone try and keep it. And I said, that's when you're on top, doesn't matter what part of the game it is, even if it's at the beginning, when you're on top that much, you need to try and score. But can't really think of clear-cut chances that Millwall have had, despite all the good play.
And they've had that hangover following the poor end to last season, Millwall. Only 2 wins in 9 games. They look absolutely nailed on for the playoffs. And then they blew a 3-1 lead on the final day to lose here to Blackburn 4-3. And that was enough to allow Sunderland to sneak in. As Somerville comes forward now, the shot for Leeds is deflected off Norton Cuffey, headed away, but Ayling regathers. His shot spins across the penalty area via Longman. And now Byram in towards Ruta. It's very congested. Byram goes down as Wallace makes the challenge. No free kick given. Then Murray has been caught by Peru, and Millwall do get the decision on the edge of their own penalty area.
Well, that was good refereeing there. I disagree with the decision or non-decision that led to the goal, but you could see that Ruta just tried to get that little bit of contact, go down. There's no way that was a foul. He realised he was 20 yards out, almost right in the middle of the goal. It would have been a really dangerous free kick for Leeds, and the referee saw through that, said get up. No way was that a foul.
And we brought you some big games in the Championship so far this weekend. Leicester winning 4-1 at Southampton on Friday evening. Cardiff winning the South Wales derby last night, beating Swansea. And there's a former Swansea player who is down on the field of play now on this near side. There was an aerial duel involving Longman and Roden, and Roden has gone down clutching his face, and he's not the sort of player to go down in this sort of manner.
No, but there was nothing to it. Both of them were going forward, and I think it might be a question of Roden almost headbutting the back of Longman, but Longman got there first. There's no way was it anything to do with an elbow up or anything like that.
Well, Roden is flat out at the moment, spread-eagled across the touchline, and 2 members of the Leeds medical team are there to check on him as both sets of players head towards the halfway line to get some words of wisdom from their managers. So a reminder, on TalkSport tomorrow night, Forest against Burnley from the Premier League. Tuesday night, 5:45 in the Champions League, Milan against Newcastle. Feyenoord against Celtic is live on TalkSport 2 at 8 o'clock. Big games in the Championship as well coming up on Tuesday. Southampton against Ipswich. Sheffield Wednesday against Middlesbrough, 2 sides without a win. And Preston against Birmingham, 2 of the sides towards the top of the table. Then on Wednesday night we have Bayern Munich against Manchester United on TalkSport. Norwich against Leicester from the Championship is here on TalkSport 2. And Lask against Liverpool, 5:45. TalkSport 2 is the Europa League offering on Thursday night. And of course Leeds have been regulars in Europe over so many years, and on this day in 1969 they played their first ever match in the European Cup, and they beat Lyn Oslo 10-0. A bit tighter here this afternoon.
Only you would know that.
I would argue that Leeds have got a few more better players in 1969 as well.
Absolutely.
I saw it on social media this morning. Okay. I'm not going to claim any great knowledge on that. I think Mick Jones scored a hat-trick. Johnny Giles was on the score sheet as well. But so far, Leeds have dominated many aspects of this game, nearly 60% possession, and Millwall have really been relying on their more direct approach and set pieces. Roden is still receiving treatment here.
Well, they've got to be careful, haven't they? It's a head injury, so they've got to be absolutely spot on. I don't know whether there needs to be some kind of concussion substitute or whether he needs to just come off completely. But obviously they're a lot more careful now than they used to be. Certainly back in my day, it'd be put a bandage around your head
sponge
and
in the
crack
face.
on. Absolutely, the old magic sponge. It's the work a treat. But no, they've got to be careful now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they're going through those concussion protocols at the moment. Roden does look a bit groggy. A member of the Leeds medical team is just holding him square on to ask those particular questions, and they will make the decision as to whether he can continue here.
I do remember actually, Nigel, I was at West Ham one time, and I told the story that Ian Pearce went down with a head injury. It was at Old Trafford minutes ago. I think West Ham were 1-0 up, and John Cross, the physio, said to Harry, "Look, Harry, he doesn't know where he is." He said, "Tell him he's Bobby Moore and get him back on the pitch."
Times have changed. I think that was the game when Paolo Di Canio scored the only goal in the FA Cup. He was at West Ham yesterday watching the game against Manchester City.
What a player he was. The best I ever played with.
Well, Roden is having his head swathed in bandages at the moment, so he will be coming back on. Leeds continuing with 10 players at the moment. Ampadu has dropped into the back four, and that's a position he knows very well. But Leeds look to press now against 10 men, with Norton Cuffy down the right, infield towards Mitchell. And at the moment, much of what Millwall are doing on the ground is being played in front of Leeds. But now Longman will try and produce something down the left, bobbing and weaving into the penalty area. He goes down under the challenge of Nonto. It would have been a very cheap penalty award. And then Nonto is almost cut in half by Wallace. I think that would have been a yellow card in the Premier League, but nothing given in the Championship apart from a free kick.
Well, first of all, correct decision that it wasn't a foul and a penalty in the box. Really good defending from Nonto, and that's what you want from your wide players. Can have all the talent in the world, but if they don't track back and help out your fullbacks, then as a team, you will be conceding goals and make it tougher for you. So well done for him. And then, Wallace realised that he didn't want Nonto for the ball and him to get past him, so he said, OK, the ball's going, you're not.
90 seconds of normal time to play in the first half here on TalkSport 2. Here is Peru, the goal scorer, but he's denied a run on goal on the edge of the penalty area by Cooper. We'll be looking back on the weekend's action in the Championship coming up during half-time here on TalkSport 2. And we'll be hearing from Kieran McKenna, Michael Carrick, Russell Martin and Enzo Maresca. As Longman brings it forward now on the far side for Millwall, but he's quickly closed down by Jorginho Rutter, the young Frenchman, signed for £35 million from Hoffenheim. But he's one of the big money signings that Leeds have retained. Of course, so many players left on loan following relegation, players who cost collectively £115 million are no longer at the club, and they brought in £3 million. A number of them have gone out on loan for now, and they may be back if they get promotion to the Premier League, but they've cut the wage bill significantly. Bradshaw now sweeps it wide to the right-hand side. Norton Cuffy, high ball in, looking for Nesbitt. Good leap to head away from Ayling, but now Longman has it inside the penalty area, left-hand side. He comes back in field. Mitchell strikes it. There's a Millwall player prone inside the penalty area. Nesbitt, the ball whizzes over his head, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, good play from Millwall, just trying to get that goal before half-time, not quite able to. They're not giving up, they're showing a lot of character. But you just mentioned about the Leeds United players who've gone out on loan. I'm not sure the fans would have them coming back, saying, oh, you didn't want to play with us for us in the Championship, but you will in the Premier League. Well, the money talks, but
yeah, I know exactly.
Leeds United fans will say, okay, money talks, but you're not coming back to my club if you didn't want to play for the club when we were down there in the second tier. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens if and when Leeds do go back up.
We're into 5 minutes of added time at the end of the first half here. Of course, Rodrigo and Adams were sold on permanent deals. Aronson, Llorente, Christensen, Roca, Verba, Harrison and Sinistera all loaned out. Sinistera going to Bournemouth, and Jadon Anthony, who came the other way on loan, is on the bench here today. Denore, good ball forward for Millwall. White and Nesbitt on this near side, the left. Wallace makes the run into the penalty area, supporting Bradshaw. And Nesbitt tries to pick out Denore again, but it's a good takeaway from Archie Gray, and then Nonto has been fouled, and Nonto looks imploringly towards the referee, claiming he's received a good deal of treatment so far in the game, but Leeds do get the free kick.
Yeah, but he did really well there. Again, just the way he's come back and helping out, and then his quick feet just drew the foul. So, just before half-time as well, that's what you want to try and do, stop the game, stop any kind of momentum that Millwall can be having. So he's done really well defensively as well as looking dangerous going forward.
Meslier with the free kick. We're 90 seconds into 5 added minutes here on TalkSport 2. Leeds leading by a goal to nil. Ampadu with a high ball forward. Rutter will chase, but Bielkowski will allow the ball to drift behind. And arguably, Meslier of Leeds has been the busier goalkeeper so far, but it's his team who lead by a goal to nil.
Yeah, certainly in those first 10 minutes. He looked very much under pressure. And nothing that Bielkowski could have done with the goal. It was a really good finish and a really well-worked goal. Quick counter-attack.
Pirou again. Almost a wrestling match between himself and Campbell, but Pirou is strong and he plays it wide to the far side, and Byram. Now Somerville will try and take on Leonard. And Leonard sticks to his task, jabs in the foot, makes the challenge, and Leeds have a throw-in on the far side. And they did forecast rain later on this afternoon, and the grey clouds are banking around Canary Wharf on the far side as Byram brings it forward now for Leeds again, driving into the penalty area down the left, but Norton Cuffy quick enough to stay with him, and the ball strikes his body and goes behind for a corner kick.
Well, I said in the first 10 minutes it'd be a good battle between those two, where in those first 10 it was Norton Cuffy trying to take on Byram. Now Leeds have wrestled a bit more momentum, and it's down the other end that Leeds United go, and they just want to keep the ball here in Millwall's half just until half-time, and they would more than settle for a 1-0 lead at half-time.
Somerville whips in the corner, Ayling on, marked at the far post, but he rose well above Leonard, but the ball just skimming off his ponytail, and it will be a throw-in to Millwall on this near side. And you feel at the moment Leeds have got Millwall where they want them, but Millwall are the sort of team where they can conjure up a goal from very little.
Well, it's 1-0, so they're always in the game. Just it could be a mistake from Leeds, it could be something special from Millwall, could be a set piece. Very much in the game, but yeah, Leeds look in control at the moment, but you know, as I say, anything can happen so far. Right, if Leeds United were to get a second goal, I do not see Millwall coming back into it.
Nonto on this near side, turning into trouble, turning into Bradshaw, quickly plays it forward down the left, but Meslier coming out of his penalty area, safety first from him, into the lower tier of the stand beneath us, and it will be a throw into Millwall on this near side as we enter the final minute of added time in the first half here on TalkSport 2, with Leeds 1 up. Now Wallace wide to this near side, and Cooper. Leonard turns and goes all the way back to Bielkowski. Terrible clearance from him, straight to Ruta, and then Ruta goes down, challenged on the edge of the penalty area by Cooper. Nothing given by the referee. If he had given a free kick, it would have been a straight red card.
It would have been, absolutely it would have been, because that would have been a goal scoring opportunity. Bielkowski, to be fair, came out really quickly, but it's a poor kick from him. And again, the last thing you want to be doing is making a mistake just before half time when you're 1-0 down. Got away with that one.
Throwing to Leeds on this near side, which Luke Ayling will take. And we're just looking to manage the clock here as we tick beyond the 5 minutes. That's half time. Second half is underway here at the Den. Millwall 0, Leeds 1. Leeds in all white, attacking the goal away to our left in the second half, which has their supporters in the upper tier. And you just get the sense that some rain could be on the way here, because the wind has picked up again and the clouds are darkening overhead as Nonto looks to bring it back for Leeds over the halfway line, but it's recovered by Leonard for Millwall, and now Bielkowski outside his penalty area. He's in goal for Millwall. The back three for them is Leonard, Cooper and Wallace. Norton Cuffy and Longman are the wing backs. Mitchell and Campbell at the heart of midfield. Denore behind Nisbet and Bradshaw. As Bradshaw comes into the penalty area now, the angle was tight right hand side and it's beaten away by Meslier at the near post. Millwall were looking for the corner kick, but it may be a throw-in on this near side, which Leonard will take.
Brilliant chance, brilliant opportunity for Millwall to get back into the game there. And I talked about how well Nonto had defended with his team in the first half. He didn't there. The ball was played into Bradshaw, and he's trying to hit it as hard as he can, but he has to direct it towards the far post. He's hit it straight at Meslier.
Leonard with the long throw, and it's headed back by Ampadu towards his own goalkeeper. I don't think that was planned, but it was into the arms of Meslier. The Leeds team again, Meslier in goal, Ayling, Roden, Strike and Byram, Gray and Ampadu holding in midfield, Somerville and Nonto are the players giving the roving roles in the wide areas, with Peru and Ruta sorting things out between them in attack.
Nigel, we talked about in the first half that Millwall played well and battled hard, but didn't really create so many clear-cut chances. That's the best chance they've had so far of the game.
And now Nonto looking to work the 1-2 with Byram on this near side. Norton Cuffy goes to ground, wins it back, doesn't get the free kick, but Leonard clears downfield. Roden, who still has his blue headband on after that head injury in the first half, wins the header above Nisbet. Now Ampadu heads it forward for Leeds on this near side. Peru with his back to goal, finding Ampadu. And now Nonto again, who's almost shoved over there by Norton Cuffy, who basically stood his ground, and Nonto ran into him. But Leeds still have possession, and it's Ampadu gets his heels clipped by Bradshaw, but he plays it wide to the far side, and Ayling. And now Somerville in space, slides it forward for Ruta, but a really good recovery challenge from Wallace. If he'd missed that, Ruta was away.
He was in, wasn't he? In behind the Millwall back three, and it's one of those from a defending point of view, you realise you don't want to get into a race, you've got to try and make that interception. He really needed to do it, and he did. It was a good one. It was a good decision in the end.
3 minutes into the second half. Millwall 0, Leeds 1 on TalkSport 2. Denore coming forward here for Millwall. Leaf something on strike, and the assistant on this near side, Scott Ledger, has the flag up. Rightly, Denore actually apologised to strike before the decision was made, and it will be a Leeds free kick.
I don't think the referee was going to give that. He waited and waited, and then the flag went up. It was a foul. I think in the first half the Millwall fans weren't happy with the performance of the referee. I think he perhaps felt he needed to be strong here, but there he wasn't going to give that decision in the end, but it was the referee's assistant who did.
Now Byron. Millwall have been a top half team since returning to the Championship, with one exception, and they almost went down under Neil Harris as they try and bring it forward now on this near side. Nonto pulls the shirt, and then the shorts of Leonard down the Millwall right, and eventually a free kick has been given, and Chris Kavanagh, the referee, just telling Ryan Leonard to calm down. He'll now have a word with Rawford Nonto.
But how is that not a yellow card? He's not getting his yellow card out at the moment. He's pulled him back, he's got the wrong side of him. It's a yellow card all day long, and the Millwall fans not happy at all, and rightly so.
Chris Kavanagh has tried to allow the game to flow. One or two challenges have been either waved off or haven't received yellow cards.
I get the flow, but he has stopped the game for the foul, therefore it's a yellow card.
Longman with the free kick, high towards the far post, headed away by Roden. Mitchell back towards Norton Cuffy, high over the top from him. Ayling is there to head the ball away. Campbell nods it wide to the far side, but Ayling anticipated, intercepts, but Mitchell slides in to halt Ayling's progress, and it will be a throw in to Leeds on the far side. And Leeds don't really need to make this game a bit of a scuffle around their own penalty area, because they've got the quality to be playing further up the field.
No, but a bit like the first half, Nigel. Millwall have come out the second half as strong as possible. That's a wonderful chance for Bradshaw, and again, instead of just striking it, he's got to try and direct it towards the far post and away from the goalkeeper. But Leeds haven't been able to get the ball down and just get hold of the tempo of this game like the first 10 minutes of the first half.
Bradshaw's now been fouled 15 yards inside the Leeds half by Ampadu, and the game has got rather scrappy here, and it's another Millwall set piece, and they will load the penalty area. Cooper, their tallest player, is rumbling forward. Leonard may choose to be over the free kick, although he may have some advice here for Longman and tell him where to put it. And Leeds have pulled every single white shirt back, defending here in a line on the edge of the penalty area, with the exception of Somerville. Now Longman, free kick, high into the penalty area. Cooper rising, nods it towards goal, but there was too much air on that, and before Leonard could get there, it's gathered by Meslier. Leonard then bumps into Ampadu. Ampadu pulls back Leonard by the scruff of his neck, and rather unnecessarily, players from both sides start milling in on the edge of the 6-yard area. It's all a bit of nonsense, and it's quickly sorted out by the referee.
It's a bit of nonsense, but Leeds don't really need this, because it's the home crowd that will get up, and they'll be up for that kind of physicality. As an away team, when you're 1-0 up, you want to try and quieten the crowd as much as possible, so you don't really get involved in those type of physical duels. Yes, of course, you want to make sure you're not going to be bullied, but just don't give the home crowd any opportunity to come into the game.
And the floodlights on the top of the doctor stand on the far side are now shining very brightly here at the Den. It's all got rather gloomy.
Is that it now, Nigel? Summer gone?
That's the end of summer.
Down the hatches for the next 8 months.
Get the thicker tog on the duvet this evening.
No.
Now Ruta, square towards Pirou, tries to let fly, but he was challenged by Mitchell. It's apparently due to get warm again at the start of October, so we'll look forward to that.
I'll take that.
Now Denore plays it forward, but he's closed down by Ampadu. And Ampadu is a player who can display rather short fuse at times, and I'm sure Millwall will be looking to play on that. 52 minutes played here on TalkSport 2. Millwall 0, Leeds United 1. Joel Piroe, the goal scorer. Now Norton Cuffy coming in field from the right, tries to slip it through to Denore, but it's quickly cut out. And now Nonto again. Square to Gray, and Gray has really had a grip on midfield alongside Ampadu. At the moment, Mitchell and Campbell are finding it very difficult to get involved, as Somerville is caught on the wrong side there as Murray wins it back for Millwall, but his ball forward is cut out by Roden, and here is Ampadu driving forward down the centre, urged on by the Leeds crowd. He tries to work the 1-2 with Rutter, but it doesn't quite come off, and it's smuggled back by Cooper towards Bielkowski, who quickly clears downfield, but Roden steps in before Bradshaw to head the ball away. And now Rutter writes a couple of challenges for Leeds in a very congested midfield area, but Denore comes back in to make the challenge, and Longman on the far side. It's frenetic at the moment. Neither side can control the ball at all.
I'll tell you what, first of all, it looked like it was really good hold-up play from Rutter.
Gray has given the ball away to Nesbitt, infield looking for Denore, but well anticipated by Byram, and Byram will now bring the ball clear for Leeds, deep into the Millwall half. Wide to this near side, and Nonto, he will attack the penalty area, whips it right through the 6-yard area. Where were the white shirts?
What a ball, what a ball. You don't always have to go past your fullback. Looked like he was trying to just hold him up, then he went down the left and just whipped it across. And they've got to read it, someone's got to read that in a Leeds United shirt. Would have been a simple tap-in, just direct the ball onto your foot, 5-6 yards out, 2-0 and almost game over.
54 minutes played on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL at the Den. It's Millwall 0, Leeds 1. And the Sunday session will be shortly underway over on TalkSport with Sam Matterface and the team. Bournemouth against Chelsea and Everton against Arsenal are the games in the Premier League today, and it's also a busy day at the Rugby Union World Cup as well. As a high ball is played forward from Ayling, wide to this near side, looking for Nonto, who applauds the intention, but the ball is straight out of play, and that will be a throw into Leeds on this near side, as the home crowd really find their voices around us here at the Den, and the Leeds crowd respond. 17,909 is the crowd, and just over 2,000 of those have made the trip from Leeds United. Now it's headed forward by Byram on this near side. Nodded clear by Norton Cuffy. Byram has it again, but he runs out of room and runs it out of play. And it will be a throw into Millwall as we approach the hour mark on TalkSport 2. Got one chance for Bradshaw so far in the second half. And it's given away by Millwall again, and here is Somerville. Of course, England against Japan at the Rugby Union World Cup kicks off at 8 o'clock this evening. Now Somerville, wide to the far side. Ayling's offside, not looking along the line with three players waiting for the pullback.
Yeah, first of all, Luke Ayling will probably be saying that Somerville should have played him in a little bit earlier, but he is looking along the line, Nigel, absolutely spot on. Should never be offside in that position. If you have to hold your run and come back, so be it, but do not be offside in that position.
Well, so what you like about Millwall fans, but they do get behind their team here at the Den. Terrific atmosphere inside the stadium today as Denore wants a free kick, claiming he was pushed over. And now Piroe on the far side, he slips over, and Wallace will bring it forward now for Millwall. The early cross in, looking for Bradshaw, headed away by Strike. And now Piroe again slides it in field, and Gray was clipped there by Wallace, and it will be a free kick for Leeds, midway inside their half, and Chris Kavanagh, the referee, continues to keep his cards in his pocket.
I'll tell you what, the last 5 or so minutes, the Millwall fans here have really made themselves heard, haven't they? Trying to get behind their team, who are huffing and puffing and trying to break this Leeds United defence down, finding it hard to create too many clear-cut chances. That's why that one so early in the second half for Tom Bradshaw was so important. They were going to go in and get 3 points. You're not going to get loads of clear-cut chances against what I think is becoming more and more a well-drilled side. We talked about the international break has given Daniel Farke more time to work on his team, both offensively and defensively. and they have looked pretty safe so far, despite in the first 10-15 minutes being under pressure.
Now Somerville on the far side has support from Gray, and the 17-year-old just checks and tries to evade Campbell, plays it wide to Ayling, who skips it down the line, then crumples to the turf, claiming he was blocked off by Longman. And again, the referee's not interested, and I think one or two players have been trying to buy free kicks, and he's basically not even giving them a second look.
No, and the principle of that is good. You know, I like it. You know, you may get one or two wrong, and obviously the high profile one of them might be the goal itself, but I think generally speaking he wants to try and, you talked about it, use the word flow, and I think that's what all fans really want to see, but ultimately you have to get almost every decision right, otherwise you will get criticism as a referee.
58 minutes played, Leeds holding on to their 1-0 lead as Nesbitt chases a knock-on forward from Bradshaw, back towards Bradshaw again down the left-hand side, and now Longman will come forward again. Bradshaw has held his wide position, and it's left for Longman. Longman clips in the cross, high to the far post. It travels beyond everybody, does it? No, it was touched behind by Byram, and it will be a Millwall corner down the right.
Great ball. That's all you can do, whether it be set piece or whether it be an open play. Get the ball into the box in dangerous areas and get the Leeds United defence facing their own goal, and actually again they defended it really well.
And a corner kick, which has looked to be Millwall's best route towards a goal so far. 2 of their 4 goals this season have come from set pieces, and they scored the most set pieces in the Championship last season. Longman with the corner, it's very deep, nodded towards goal by Cooper. The second header was won by Ampadu, and now Mitchell on the far side, but it's Gray who just hacks it clear, and the game has got very, very scrappy, but that may suit Millwall as they chase this game with an hour played. Bielkowski with a long ball forward. Longman looks to chest it down to Denore, but Leeds win it back, and now they can come forward with Nonto wide towards Somerville. Nonto was shoved over off the ball. Somerville bursts into the penalty area, but Cooper did well to time the challenge, lunging in, and he won the ball cleanly, but Leeds do have a corner, and Nonto went down there, and I wonder if he collided with the referee off the ball.
I didn't see what happened with Nonto going down, but certainly Leeds United, a couple of the players not happy, but that was brilliant defending from Cooper. The last thing you want is someone like Somerville running at you inside the box, knowing that he can go either way, but he showed him outside and then made the tackle. Again, we talked earlier about how when you make a tackle inside the box, you need to be almost 100% sure, or you're absolutely desperate, there's nothing else to do. Otherwise, it could be a penalty. Really good tackle from the centre-half there.
Well, Chris Kavanagh is just having words with Ethan Ampadu, and Daniel Farker has also been in discussion with Andy Davis. The fourth official has had a very busy time down there today. There's not too much room between the two technical areas, and Andy Davis is very much aware of that. Somerville with a high cross towards the far post. It's nodded down. Piru goes down inside the area, looking for the cheapest of penalties. Chris Kavanagh, again, doesn't even bother to wave away the appeal. And it's back with Melier at the other end, away to our right. And he's just looking to manage the clock here, but there's a long way to go. 61 minutes played on TalkSport 2. Millwall 0, Leeds United 1. Millwall have already lost here this season to Bristol City. Leeds' only victory came away from home, 4-3 at Ipswich. They've drawn all 3 of their home games, and have lost at Birmingham to a very late penalty from Lukas Djukovic. But Leeds continue to dominate the meaningful possession in this game. But Melier, outside his penalty area, clips it wide to the far side and straight out of play. Ayling tries to leap and chest the ball in field, and Melier looks like $1 million in that sort of situation, Scott, until he actually kicks the ball.
Yeah, and then it's more like £1 million. It wasn't the best of balls, and I think sometimes you just got to have confidence in your defenders. Give them the ball. If you receive it back, so be it. But at the moment, Millwall only needing to really go half and half to threaten to try and attack, and then Melier goes long.
Norton Cuffy challenged by Nonto on this near side, and fair play to Nonto. He's not shirked the physical challenges for Millwall, and he's also got through his defensive work so far today as Leonard tries to go beyond him on this near side, slips it in towards Denore on the edge of the penalty area, back in field towards Leonard. The early cross in is headed away by Roden, who very quickly waves his team out towards the edge of the penalty area, but Millwall come forward again now. Longman curls it in, right-footed, woefully overhit, straight out of play, and it will be a goal kick, and a triple change coming up here for Millwall. Watmore, Fleming and Esse are the players coming on, and the first player withdrawn is Nesbitt. Duncan Watmore comes on to replace him, and Denore will also make way for the blonde-haired Zian Fleming, who scored 15 goals last season, and the 18-year-old Romain Esse, who scored the winning goal against Middlesbrough. He'll replace Alan Campbell. So fresh legs for Millwall, and they've also freshened up their attacking option.
Yeah, interesting. Gone for a triple substitution. It feels that clearly Gary Rowett, it's not just a little tweak. It needs to try and change something completely different. And as I say, they've worked really hard, and it's only 1-0. They're very much in the game, but I'm slightly surprised that Nori's come off. Not necessarily surprised that Nisbet's come off. Let's see what the substitutes can do now.
Fleming plays it back towards Mitchell, and now Eze finding Fleming again. So Mitchell is basically on his own now at the base of midfield. It looks like a midfield diamond in some respects behind Watmore and Bradshaw, as Ruta comes back to win it back for Leeds, plays it off Longman, and it will go out of play on the far side. Well, Fleming will be playing in behind the two strikers. It looks like Mitchell is going to be the defensive shield for the back three, and then Eze has come into midfield. And he's coming forward now down the left, looks to pick out Watmore on the edge of the penalty area, but Roden intercepts, and Roden now charging forward up towards the halfway line. He's left it for Somerville. Somerville knows the crossfield ball is on for Nonto, and it was, but he hoops it straight out of play. And it will be a throw into Millwall on this near side with 65 minutes played. And what is a very grey day now in South East London, and it's still Millwall 0, Leeds United 1 here on TalkSport 2. Bradshaw will chase a long ball forward, but it skips off the turf ahead of him and skids straight out of play, and it will be a throw into Leeds. And in terms of the overall quality, Scott, the second half so far has not matched the first.
No, it hasn't. No, it was a really good first half, actually. Started with Millwall playing really well in the first 10-15 minutes. You know, Leeds scored a really well-worked goal. Again, controversial one. Should it have been a foul earlier on? It wasn't given, but it was a very good team goal. And Millwall, to be fair, in that first half really went for it.
And now Longman coming forward. He fires in a right-footed shot, but again, he is wasteful as he comes infield onto that right foot, and it's into the top tier of the Coldblow Lane stand behind that goal.
The thing is, you know what he's going to do. He's always going to come inside onto his right foot, but you know, I don't think Leeds stop him enough and show him down the outside, but once he has, been a couple of times now where one he's tried to cross and he's overhit it. There he's just tried to shoot and he's completely overhit it. You know, again, that final ball, which I think ultimately there's not much Gary Rowett can do about that, which is why, you know, Millwall have had a tough start to the season, and are certainly one of the teams that will always try and chase the playoffs, but will perhaps just fall short. You know, ultimately it's about the quality of the player, and while he's got a lot of good play to him, Ryan Longman, and he can whip in a really good ball, his final ball today has not been good enough.
And the rain is now coming down quite heavily here at the Den, and that will add just another ingredient to the way this game has been played, as Nonto controls on this near side. Back again towards Bryan. At the midpoint of the second half, Peru looking to hold Mitchell off the ball. Peru goes down, wanted the free kick, but does get the corner. And Peru is one of those players who disappears for long spells, but then can pop up with a decisive moment.
I remember Ruud Gullit saying at Chelsea one time, he said, look, I don't necessarily need you to dominate the game, I want you to do two things that affect the game. He's certainly done one thing so far, hasn't he?
Absolutely. Somerville will take the corner. Nonto is the short option. Looking to prevent that. The corner swung high into the penalty area. Norton Cuffy leaps well above Byram at the far post, but it's out of play, and it will be another Leeds corner. And the rain now is absolutely teeming down.
Yeah, the heavens have opened up, haven't they? And that's where, again, get your shots in, get your low crosses in. Defenders will hate it, goalkeepers too.
And we can barely see the top of Canary Wharf now on the far side. The weather has really closed in here in southeast London as Somerville will take the corner kick. 22 minutes to play here. Leeds leading 1-0. And the corner is headed down by Strike, but he was falling away as he connected with the ball, and it's a couple of yards wide. Double change for Leeds. And Somerville is coming off, and Dan James makes his comeback from injury. Of course, he was on loan at Fulham in the Premier League last season. And Jaden Anthony will also come on, a player who was on loan from Bournemouth. Somerville has flitted in and out of the game at times. Nonto has certainly been a constant force for Leeds, but he'll be replaced. Fresh legs of James, and Anthony will provide plenty of pace in the wide areas as well.
Yeah, well, Somerville has looked dangerous. The odd time he's been on the ball has been Nonto, who's perhaps been the better of the two in that game so far. But not surprised to see Dan James and Jaden Anthony come on. And Jaden Anthony has obviously come from Bournemouth, and I think he realises what a big club Leeds United is. There's a great opportunity for him. And Dan James, good to see him back fit as well with the pace that he's got. I'm sure that's something which, as Millwall try and go for it later on, they'll try and look for that ball in behind and use his speed for sure.
Well, Jaden Anthony was a regular for Bournemouth in the Premier League in the first month of the season, but he was part of the deal which took Sinisterra down to the south coast. As Pirou tries to bring it forward now, there was a Leeds player down on the far side, and it's Dan James who went down straight away. Now players from both sides start to tumble. Luke Ayling hits the turf for Leeds as they tries to take a quick free kick in the midst of all of that. There's no way the referee was going to allow that to go, and play will be pulled back here. It's Murray Wallace who is down on the far side. And Chris Kavanagh has done a pretty good job of keeping a check on things here, and gradually the players have got the message that if they do throw themselves to the turf, they won't get anything.
Yeah, I think sometimes he's missed a couple of things, and as I say, the goal itself was a big one. I think generally speaking he's tried to do it in the right way. It's not been the easiest game to referee. Two teams obviously trying to impose themselves. Millwall, Leeds, reputation-wise, two clubs that will be bang up for this one. They certainly have been on the pitch.
And Jaden Anthony coming on to make his Leeds United debut here. Norton Cuffy allows the ball to bounce and then controls it on his thigh, and he delivers an early cross into the penalty area. Mellier's there though to get in before Bradshaw and make a clean claim, which is not the easiest in these conditions now, as he bowls it out wide to this near side. And Byram, 19 minutes to play on TalkSport 2. Byram having his shirt held by Watmore, but he plays it back towards Strike, and now Ampadu completing that neat triangle for Leeds, but Byram has to go all the way back towards Strike into his own penalty area, finding Mellier, and Mellier sweeps it downfield. Good distance, but onto the head of Cooper, who nods it over the top. And here is Byram again, but he's given the ball away to Leonard, who charges in, and as a result of his pace, he booms the ball out of play on this near side, and it will be a throw-in for Leeds United. And another change about to be made, and Emodo Imaku, another teenager, will be coming on for Millwall to replace Ryan Longman. Imaku will slot in down the left-hand side. A Republic of Ireland under-21 international, 19 years of age, signed from Shamrock Rovers in Dublin. already scored this season, scored in the defeat at Norwich, and he will be a more authentic left-sided player down the Millwall left, and will have the ability to go on the outside, which is something possibly Ryan Longman lacks as an inverted wing-back.
Absolutely. Longman, we talked about how coming inside all the time it can be a little bit too predictable, and then his final ball wasn't good enough in the last 3 or 4 attempts, so it's a decent substitution from Gary.
Leonard rather loops the ball into the penalty area. I think the long throw slipped out of his hand there, but he's now got possession again. Mitchell, and now Leonard back towards Morton Cuffy, and he spins away to the right again. Leonard down the line for Esse. Esse's got Bradshaw in space down the right. Early cross into the penalty area just beyond Watmore, headed away by Ampadu, but Norton Cuffy almost wins it back, but Ruta comes away with the ball for Leeds, and they can use their pace on the break here, but it's Dan James, and a good challenge though coming in from Amaku, the player who has just come on. Now Fleming back towards Wallace on the far side, and Amaku. Fleming looks to make the run down the left, but Amaku is challenged by Ayling, and Leeds can break forward again here with James wide towards the right hand side, and Ayling, the low cross in, blocked, appeals for handball mainly from Ayling and Ruta and the Leeds fans behind that goal, but nothing given by the assistant on the far side, Matt Wilkes, or the referee Chris Kavanagh. And Amaku plays it long down the left-hand side, looking for Watmore, who's done well to keep the ball in play. He'll take on Gray, and Gray came in with a really good challenge there, came away with the ball. He was then caught by Watmore, and that will be a Leeds free kick.
Do you know what, Nige, you know, it's one thing to make your debut as a 17-year-old in a first team, but it's another thing to do it in central midfield. You know, that's really the hub of it all, where you kind of dictate the tempo of the game. He already looks like a man physically, but people can be 6'4" at 17 years of age and still not quite understand what it's like to play in men's football. It's academy football, such a big jump up to men's football. But this kid looks absolutely special, doesn't he? I'm not surprised having the Gray name, and he seems to sort of embrace that pressure as well. But as I say, really impressed with him. It's not as if he's a left back or left winger playing out wide, seeing the ball every now and again. He is in the hub of it all, but looking like he's been a senior pro for the last 5-6 years.
And the Championship provides the sort of environment where young players can really flourish. I remember seeing Jude Bellingham as a 16-year-old in the Birmingham midfield a few years ago, and he's kicked on.
Now you are talking special talents.
I'm not comparing Gray to him.
No, but you're absolutely right about the Championship. It's a great breeding ground for sure.
Cleared away by Strike. And now it's controlled on this near side by Mitchell for Millwall. 15 minutes to play on TalkSport 2. And it's still 1-0 to Leeds, as it has been since the 15-minute here. Now Leonard back towards Cooper. A high diagonal ball wide to the far side, and Matthew will try and keep the ball in play, but it just gathers pace off the wet playing surface here now. Spins over his shoulder out of play, and that will be a throw into Leeds, and they are not hurrying at this stage. And they do have the out ball now of Dan James down the right hand side. That will allow someone like Peru to come shorter, as he does now. And coming up at 2 o'clock, we have up front with Simon Jordan, and today's guest is the former Cruiserweight World Champion Johnny Nelson. That's all coming up with Simon Jordan following this game at 2 o'clock, as Ruta charges down the clearance from Cooper. And here's an opportunity for Anthony now for Leeds. Clips it wide from the right-hand side towards James. Back towards Ayling. Ayling now can attack the penalty area. Slipped in towards Ruta with his back to goal, looking to hold off Cooper, but he's given the ball away. A high ball played forward now, over the top from SA, looking for Bradshaw, but it's over-hit, and it will bobble all the way through towards Melier, who encourages Bradshaw to come into the penalty area, and then he will eventually pick the ball up.
Yeah, it was a decent tackle. They won the ball back well there, but SA was the right idea, but you really have to execute that 50-yard pass a little bit better than that.
Ampadu finding his former Welshman James now attacking the penalty area, finding Ruta, back towards James, and Pirro is there to finish things off, and Leeds lead by 2-0, and it's Joel Peru once again, a tap in almost on the goal line. But really, that's what he's all about. He comes with a guarantee of goals in the Championship, and he's delivered for Leeds United here today. They lead by 2 goals to nil. Their second victory of the season is surely assured, and it's been won for them by Joel Peru.
Yeah, you would certainly think so. That's it. Millwall will find it hard to come back from that. 2 goals from him. I mean, it was a bit of a calamity. It looked like it was a well-worked goal at one point. They won the ball back, counter-attack really, really quickly. A good play from Jaden Anthony coming inside, then pace from Dan James as well. And it just looked as if Millwall were able to get themselves back, but they weren't in the end. Who was that who fell over?
It was James.
It was Dan James. I mean, it was a little 1-2 from him, wasn't it? And he should have finished it himself. He tripped just as he was trying to do quick feet. But it's fallen into the path of Peru. Right place, right time. We talked about he hasn't done too much. We also talked about the 3 minutes saying he can do 2 things in a game. Well, he certainly has today. I do not see Millwall coming back from that. A little bit of a luck in that goal, the way he fell over Dan James, but quite simply Leeds, that's what they look better attacking wise. Just got someone alongside me looking at the goal laughing at that as well, but he's a Leeds United fan, he doesn't care at all. 2-0 up, and I'll tell you what, these are good 3 points here for the away side.
Well, Peru, they invested in him from a fellow championship club at Swansea, and he's come up with 2 goals here today. Anthony just running the ball out of play. And you look through this Leeds team now, they've brought Anthony, who can play further forward off the bench. They've got James off the bench. They've still got Bamford to come back. This team is full of attacking options.
Yeah, there's Gelhardt as well, isn't there? Who,
yes,
has talents, along with the Bamford to come back on top of that. So I think the biggest problem if everyone's fit is for Daniel Farker to actually work out what his best 11 is and keep everybody happy who's on the bench. But if he gets it right, I genuinely believe this Leeds United side can go on a great run and very much aim for top 2.
Well, the Leeds fans in great voice now, leading here by 2 goals to nil. And Millwall are seeing their supporters leaving in large numbers now as Norton Cuffy with a cross into the area, headed away by Ampadu, and it will be a corner. And Leeds have not won here since Ross McCormack scored the only goal back in March of 2012.
Wow.
It's not been a good place for them to come. Only 1 win in 11 visits, but they're winning here today by 2 goals to nil. Corner kick, which will be taken by Romain Eze on this near side. Swung high towards the far post, strike rising to clear. It's controlled on the edge of the penalty area. And the youngster who's come on, Imaku, looking to sort his feet out, but he's lost out, and it's swept forward now for Dan James, using his pace down the centre, the cross in, looking for Ruta. There's a slip from Mitchell. Ruta can make it 3, and he does, and Leeds United are running away with this. It's an emphatic victory here at the Den. Their supporters are delirious. Dan James, lightning pace on the break, and Jorginho Ruta firing the ball high into the back of the net, and Leeds United are really sending out a warning here to the rest of the championship. They are on their way up the table. It is Millwall 0, Leeds United 3.
Well, again, we'll talk about the pace that they've got, Leeds United, and it was a mistake. It actually came from Millwall's corner, and yet they were kind of messing around with it, but they counter-attack so quickly with the pace that they've got. It wasn't actually the best of balls from Dan James. It was behind Ruta. And I think it was Billy Mitchell who was actually trying to come back onto Ruta as well. And it went behind him. He fell over, and Ruta just takes the touch and puts it into the top corner. Look, this is a fantastic win for Leeds United. It's a 3-0 win. It looks like they'll be keeping a clean sheet. It looks like they'll be winning the game by 3 goals. But it's not a 3-0 game. Millwall does not deserve to be losing this 3-0, but that's what the scoreline will be saying, and that's what you're talking about. You don't always have to be that much better than the opposition. What you do need is to be able to have players who can create moments, and they've certainly done that, and this is an emphatic win on paper, if not actually how the game has gone.
But if you sign players, top quality strikers from major clubs, they score the goals. I mean,
well, absolutely.
You look at what Timo Pukki did for Daniel Farker at Norwich.
Absolutely, and that's what these players, these forward players should be thinking. How can I be the Timo Pukki that Daniel Farker will rely on the whole time? And Ruta certainly will be delighted, and I think he deserves a goal the way he's played. He's led the line fantastically well. I don't think it is a 3-0, but Peru would be delighted. He's been on the score sheet twice, Ruta too, and if they are to keep a clean sheet, Leeds United, then I think they'll be absolutely delighted with that, because, as I say, I do feel for Millwall. They haven't deserved this. It's not been a 3-0 game, but this is about a team that's been clinical against a team that is just huffing and puffing.
Now Machu making his way into the penalty area, and a goal kick's being given as he slips. Ailing made the challenge. Leeds are about to bring on Glenn Kamara, the Finnish international, signed from Rangers, and there'll be no hat-trick opportunity for Joel Peru because he's the player who will make way. And George Saville, the former Middlesbrough player, in his second spell here at the Den, will be coming on for Millwall. Well, Peru looks disappointed because he may believe there's a hat-trick goal out there for him in the final 7 minutes or so, but Kamara comes on. And the change has been made as well for Millwall, and it's Billy Mitchell who has come off to be replaced by George Saville. And Mitchell was the player who rather slithered to the turf, losing his footing at the key moment, which allowed Ruta to hammer the ball high into the net to make it 3-0 to Leeds.
Yeah, he was unlucky, to be fair. He was trying to track back. And as I say, it wasn't the best of balls from Dan James, but because it was played behind, he kind of tried to kick out it, flick out at it behind him, wasn't able to get there, and it meant Ruta, who, to be fair to him, we talked about the amount of money that was spent, and you know, he last season couldn't get a decent performance. I really think this is an opportunity for him in the Championship to gain a lot of confidence. It was a really good finish, and I think he deserves it with the play that he's had so far this afternoon.
Ailing plays it back towards James, who's been involved in the 2 goals since coming on. Now Kamara back again towards Ailing on the far side, and a back heel will release Ailing again from Ruta, who scored his second goal of the season to make it 3-0. And we still have 6 minutes to play here, plus added time on TalkSport 2. And you look around the stands here, most of the Millwall fans have gone home.
Yeah.
Or they're outside.
Well, I'd never really advocate anyone going home earlier. You want your fans to stay there as long as possible, but it's 3-0. It's absolutely teeming down.
Yeah, Sunday afternoon.
I don't think anything's going to change here on in.
There'll be a game on the telly at 4:30.
Absolutely.
Well, it's a big win here for Leeds. They scored 4 in their travels at Ipswich, and they've got 3 here today, which really makes you wonder how they failed to score in that game against Sheffield Wednesday, which earned the Owls their first point of the season, their only point of the season so far, as Ailing closes down Cooper on the far side, and that will be a goal kick.
It's a really good point though, Nige, because, you know, I think that's where they need to get better, winning games at home against teams that will just come and park the bus. You know, they do have the attacking players. They need to try and work out, okay, well, if it's going to be a 5-4-1 or a 4-5-1, certainly 10 players behind the ball, how do we break down the team? They have the quality. They've got a way to work that out at Ellen Road. And if at times they might get stick by the fans for just coming back and going around the other side, then you have to be strong enough to deal with that.
Well, they've scored 3 counter-attacking goals here today, and of course you can't really do that at home.
No, so this is the perfect kind of situation for them, really, playing away from home.
And here's Ampadu striding forward now, found by Ruta. He's got support to his left-hand side. It's Kamara. Anthony streaking forward at pace into the penalty area. Anthony comes in field. Can he make it 4? He was challenged by Fleming. He went down looking for the penalty. In the end, it scrambled behind for a corner. And I have to say, Fleming's challenge there did not seem to get a huge amount of the ball.
No, and they're also claiming a handball as well. I think Jake Cooper. 2 possible opportunities for a penalty there for Leeds. I don't think either perhaps were strong enough. And I think the fact it's 3-0, I mean, it shouldn't matter what the scoreline is, but I wonder whether the referees just thought, no, we'll just keep it as it is.
3.5 minutes to play. 3-0 to Leeds. And they have a corner kick which Dan James will take. And he is a player who could really tear things up in the Championship, you feel, if he stays fit. James with an in-swinging corner, high to the far post, and it was Roden coming in on the end of it. And he just glances the header wide.
Yeah, it's tough for Millwall. I do hope Gary Rowett doesn't get any stick after this game, because on paper it looks like it's a big defeat. That's not how it's been. 1-0 all the way. They were in this game up until 2, and then the third one came so quickly afterwards. There's that Tom Bradshaw chance right just after the half-time at the start of the second half, where if he'd have just directed that better, 1-1 absolutely would have been game on. The first 10 minutes, I thought they were really, really good, and Leeds very much under pressure. As I say, this is not a 3-0 game, so I do hope, and also he's tried to make substitutions and change the game, so I do hope he doesn't get stick off the back of this.
Leeds will be bringing on Ilya Gruev, the Bulgarian international signed from Werder Bremen, for his debut shortly. Joe Gelhardt will also be coming on. And Leeds, of course, scored that first goal, which Millwall believed should have been pulled back for a free kick, and I'm sure Gary Rowett will be making a point about that, because at that stage in the first half it was anyone's game as Jorginho Ruta comes off, and Joe Gelhardt will come on to replace him, the 21-year-old who was on loan at Sunderland last season. And Archie Gray, another good performance from the 17-year-old. He gets a handshake from Daniel Farke, and Ilya Gruev will take his place in midfield. And we have 90 seconds of normal time to play here. Leeds looking for their clean sheet. Fleming finding Saville. Saville's high cross into the penalty area is behind Cooper, and it will be a goal kick. And it's been a chastening day for Millwall, only conceding 5 goals in their first 5 games, and 3 here today, and they will look at only 4 goals scored in 6 games.
I think that's the big one. I think anyone can, as I say, it's not a 3-0 game really here, but anyone can get done with this Leeds United team conceding 3, but that's 4 in 6 now scoring wise, and that's the problem. That's what Gary has got to try and somehow work out. Look, they've tried their best. They've more than matched them at times. As I say, they can definitely argue, and it was a big point in that first goal. If it was a foul, then when you against Leeds United, the last thing you want to be doing is chasing the game, as we've seen in the second and third goal. So it was a big moment not to give that foul, but to lead to 1-0. Tom Bradshaw having that chance as well, but you just don't want defeat after defeat, and then things suddenly just really snowball.
Here is Watmore inside the penalty area, pulls it back, but it's hammered away by Ampadu, and it will be a throw-in, maybe a corner kick on the far side. It's a corner kick that's been given, and it's played short to Eze, and now Amaku. He lets fly, wasn't too far over the top, worth an effort from the youngster, but Meslier always had it covered.
Yeah, definitely worth an effort. Why not make a name for himself? Edge of the box, on his right foot, left centre, have a pop.
Into a minimum of 5 added minutes here on TalkSport 2. NFL action coming up at 5 o'clock. 3 games today. The Bears against the Bucks, the 49ers against the Rams, and the Dolphins against the Patriots. All live on TalkSport 2 into the early hours of tomorrow morning. And they're underway at 5 o'clock with Nat Coombs and the team. And the next live football on the TalkSport network is tomorrow night from the Premier League, Nottingham Forest against Burnley, as the promoted teams look to pick up their first win of the season. And Sheffield United came very close to it at Tottenham yesterday, as it's cleared away by Roden, the player who was on loan from Tottenham for Leeds, on the far side.
He's done well and come in, hasn't he?
Yeah. He's another one that just needs to play.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see what happens at the back there when Liam Cooper's fit, because he is a proper leader, a captain. Does he come straight back in?
Well, Roden was signed to replace him. Norton Cuffy plays it back to find Fleming, and now Norton Cuffy again back onto that left foot, and here is Fleming. Fleming scored 15 goals last season. Bradshaw got 17, but neither have found the net so far in the current campaign, as Ampadu slides into, win it back from Saville, and Kamara almost led the breakout there. He had James in support, but Millwall have it back. Imaku breaking into the penalty area, but the challenge comes in from Ampadu. Imaku was in the act of shooting there, and he caught Ampadu, who lunged in. It was an unfortunate challenge, but both Imaku and Ampadu are down.
Yeah, we've got to try and go for that as well. Actually, it was really good covering play from Ampadu, and that's what he's good at. That's what he's been doing so far, and that's his job. Just feel that Kamara should have been stronger. If he'd have just gone in for a 50-50 with Wallace, and don't get me wrong, Wallace is very, very big, but that would have been another great opportunity for Leeds to go on and counter-attack, and it almost would have been a 2-on-1.
Well, Ampadu has stayed down here. Leeds, of course, have made their 5 changes, and we have 2.5 minutes of added time still to play as the New Den continues to empty at an increasingly rapid rate here. But the Leeds fans are going nowhere, and they're enjoying their afternoon because this has been a very good away day, leading by 3-0. And maybe the first signs of a promotion challenge under Daniel Farke are being seen here at the Den today as Gelhardt heads the ball in field, but it's cleared away by Leonard over the top, but Roden has not missed a thing in the air for Leeds. He heads it forward now, Ampadu in towards Gelhardt, lovely flick from him. Kamara almost found Anthony, and now he will at the second attempt. Anthony can break into the penalty area, left hand side, just holds on to possession, plays it square to James. James was caught on the edge of the penalty area, and it will be a free kick. It was Fleming coming in from behind, and it's a free kick for Leeds just on the edge of the D.
That's a ridiculous challenge, straight into Dan James. Definite foul, 19 yards out, right centre in front of goal. This is a great opportunity for Leeds United to make it 4. You don't make a tackle like that. That definitely was a forwards tackle.
Well, Anthony is over the free kick. James is another option. And Leeds here looking to finish with a flourish in the 95th minute. Gelhardt could also hit this left-footed.
Well, he needs a goal. Individually, you sort of think, you look at the person who's going to step up, you say, right.
Well, Gelhardt, really, he's the striker.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Jaden Anthony keeps on making an impact, doesn't he? So those two, it's between those two at the moment.
And it's Anthony who curls it, and it takes a deflection off the wall onto the roof of the netting, and it will be a corner kick right at the end of this game.
Yeah, just waiting, aren't we? We're coming up to 95 minutes now. Referee needs to do everyone a favour, really. Certainly Millwall. Leeds are keeping it in Millwall's half. Just waiting for that final whistle. And what will be, even though I've said it's not a 3-0 game, really, it's very harsh on Millwall. It's a fantastic result and scoreline for Leeds. Keeping a clean sheet, scoring 3 goals, 2 of your strikers scoring. Pretty much perfect.
In front of the big screen, Dan James will take the corner kick into the near post. Fleming is the only player there to clear the ball away, and that's it. Celebrations for Leeds United. A big win at the Den today by 3-0.